Hello, people. We're just waiting for others to come in. And I do like the look of that very beautiful white cat.
That's Pip. He just chose this moment that he absolutely has to have a cuddle.
That's absolutely fine.
I don't usually show the video because when I'm on Zoom calls, because I know that there's going to be cat interference. Oops.
Well, you choose in a minute, as we're just waiting for other people at the moment.
He might pipe down in due course when he's had his cuddle.
Well, you can always mute anyway, so it's fine.
I shall mute.
Well, as I said, we're waiting for other people. 22 people booked, so I'm going to give them a bit more time because you know what it's all like. Then you think you're going to be on time and then you're not. And this is quite normal because we're all quite used to it. Here comes another one. I'll say it again in a minute just before we begin, but we are recording, so people can actually see this if they couldn't make it tonight, because I know there are some people who couldn't, and so they'll be able to watch what we did later on. And there's another one. There we go. So we're just waiting for people if you've just joined. It was a bit difficult to get the timing right. It was good to give people enough time to get here. Things happen at the last minute, even if it's just that you forget your cup of tea. So we give people a little bit longer. As I said earlier, 22 people booked, so I think I will give people a little bit longer to get in. Hopefully it won't be too long before we start. The webinar lasts about an hour, and we're going to have a journey in that as well, with some discussion. Well, hello, everybody. And if you want to unmute, now is the moment to do it, because I'm asking you a couple of questions in a minute. So see if you want to join in, and then you can unmute yourselves. So how is everybody? Is everybody unmuted? Everybody. Let's just make sure everybody does. Yeah. And then we're all here. If you want to. Where are we? There we are. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. And it's practically midwinter. And this midwinter, as you know, we've got the full moon, which is actually tomorrow. It's slightly before midwinter, but it's all within the period. As you'll probably know, there's the full moon day, but there's 3 days before and 3 days after, and that's all like the period of the full moon. So we've got full moon at midwinter this year, which is actually very exciting. And for me, it actually pulls a whole load of extra stuff in. It makes everything more intense and more personal as well, not just impersonal. And as you can see, I'm sharing my screen and I've got a wolf, a very beautiful wolf, a black wolf. I've not met this one. I have met some wolves, as some of you will probably know. And wolves for me are midwinter. And I don't know whether you saw, but I thought it'd be really good to start off with to know what sort of thing like for wolf for me really means midwinter for you. So I'm going to stop sharing my wolf for a minute and ask each of you, if you don't mind sharing, what thing comes to mind for you, Heather, when you actually feel midwinter? Let's pass it. Okay. Christina, what does midwinter mean for you?
The first thing that comes into my mind when you ask the question is a big white owl.
Wow, yes.
And I don't know really why, because where I live, I'm not that likely to see a big white owl, but that's just the instinctive picture that I get.
That's very beautiful. That's absolutely gorgeous. I can well see that. Darren, what do you feel when you think of midwinter? What comes to mind?
I see, the first thing I see is frost that looks like snow.
Wow.
But I live quite near a heath, so.
Yeah. Yes, and that is an old film or old feature that I noticed too, and patterns in the frost and things like that. They're very lovely. Who else would like to share? Alicia? Jackie? What comes to mind for you? Or Wilk, what comes to mind for you? And you see midwinter. Think midwinter. Are you up for sharing or not? Perhaps not. Okay, well, we'll carry on with this because midwinter is an important time. As I expect you all know, it's the standstill. It's the shortest day. So after the 21st, the days begin to get longer, but only ever so fractionally for the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It's the 25th when we really start noticing it, when the sun starts moving back north again. So we've got quite a long period of midwinter. And it's about, for me, as I said, wolves, so much wolves. And this is one of the things that comes to my mind, particularly when we're thinking of rewilding. This poem is rather lovely, very sad too. The Last Wolf. I am the wild. I am the free. I am all that you imagined to be. I am the spirit in whose woods I dwelled. I am the gift that man has failed. And unfortunately, right now, that's very much the case. We haven't really got our act together at all yet to bring back the wild and to bring back the natural world. The wolf certainly does remind us of that. Wolves often get a very bad press, as I'm sure you know. And they're not a bad press. They really are not. They're really wonderful creatures. And if we could go to the next slide, if I can manage to make this happen. So we'll go out and we'll come in again. And we'll get to, where's it gone? Where's my wonderful slide gone? There we go. Right. Let's share this one for you. And says she, hopefully. And I should have it. Cool. That's better. Sorry about this. It disappeared suddenly, as things do. This is how it should be with wolves. This is a wolf I hope to meet in 2022. He's only a young boy, and he lives with some people I know, Kim, who is with him there, and her partner, Sean. And they have been researching into wolves, Sean for 30 years, I think at least. And they've actually lived with wolves in the wild, and they live with these wolves now, and they're not tame. They don't do dog things. They don't walk to heel or any kind of rubbish like that. They are wild, wild wolves. And if you want to, you can actually go and visit with them as well, as I have. But this is how they are. He's enormous. You can tell by his head against her head. She's got a normal human-sized head. He is a very big wolf, and he's only a youngster, but he is so lovely to be with. Then look at these eyes. Just look. Those eyes are talking to you. And as I found when I was there, they look right at you. You can't hide when a wolf looks at you. You're right there, right in it, right with them. And it's quite incredible. And what the wolf says to you, which I find absolutely lovely, and it's some advice given in this meme, it says, trust your instincts. Be at home in nature. Keep your den clean. Stand for what you believe. Stay on track. Howl with your friends. Be a leader. And pack life with good memories. And they do. And they are so wonderful. It's one of the things that I think we really need to get a handle on when we're working nowadays, because there's an old thought which really comes from probably Victorian times of looking at wolves, when wolves were sort of nasty beasts who are going to chase you and attack you and all this kind of thing, which they actually don't do. If you actually go on a wolf tracking holiday or a wolf seeing holiday, you won't have a very high chance of actually seeing any wolves. They don't guarantee this anyway when you go on these holidays, not when they're wild holidays, because the wolf is going to hear you and smell you and probably even see you from a hell of a lot of yards, like half a mile, and they will hear you and smell you from a mile away. And because of our relationship with wolves, they're not too keen on actually coming close to humans necessarily. So they're not going to be out there hunting you. They're not going to be ravening after eating you. You know, human isn't the sort of latest delicacy beyond caviar for wolves. They're really not. And I imagine that we're probably not that tasty, not compared with the other prey that they normally have, like deer or rabbits or other good prey animals. So wolves give us this advice to trust our own instincts, something we don't do, to be at home in nature, which people are getting a bit better at. And that's one thing COVID has done, has made more people keen on it. Keeping our den clean. Well, yes, we probably do. And standing for what we believe. I don't know whether we actually do that or whether we let things happen because we can't do anything about it. And unfortunately, many of us are often pulled off track, diverted. We don't howl enough with our friends. We've become very isolationist. And we don't lead, we let other people lead too much when actually we can do it. And I don't know how much all of us really do pack life with good memories, but we should do because they're really worthwhile. So wolves have been quite badly thought of over the years. And now is time when we can get into them again. Now, I've been with them, and let's whip back there again, because this is me and my friend, Fiona. This is me, as you can sort of tell, and that's Fiona. And this is with Kim and Sean again. This is a wolf called Mac and Mackenzie. And he was with us and he came right over, and I'm actually leaning my face and my head against him, and look at the smile on his face as well. He's pleased about it. But we didn't call them over. It wasn't like, here, kitty, kitty, kitty sort of thing, anything like that. We just sat there sort of oozing wow and love at them, because that's how we felt, and waited. And they checked us out, and they came around and looked at us and sniffed us and ate our hair. Matt particularly ate my hair, and sort of stood on us and pressed against us and pushed us and all that kind of thing. It was lovely. And they're very gentle, quite strong. So no, you are going to let me shove you. It's going to be fine. You're going to roll over, and that was fine too. And then I'm actually going to come and you can lean on me like my other wolf friends do. And you can be part of my pack just for a little while you're here. And it's really heart-opening. It's really fantastic. So I recommend it to anybody who can get a chance to go and do that. But over this midwinter, they started talking to me again, wolves, wolf spirits. And it really got through to me. I love the band Vadrona. I don't know whether any of you do too as well. And they've got a wonderful song, Grau, which means grey, which is the grey wolf. And it's about that. And I listen to it a lot at this time of year. And it, and remembering last May when we were with the wolves and thinking of wolves, and Midwinter itself coming on, it inspired a poem for me. So I'm going to give you that poem now because it's relevant to what we're going to do in a minute. Oh, grey, you howl, trees shiver, sky trembles, earth quakes and snow falls. And I remember. Oh, grey, you are so old. and so forgotten. You howl, and the dark forest remembers you. Trees tear at my heart, and memory stirs within me. Long ago, we ran together. You taught me honesty. You taught me truth. You taught me faithfulness. And you taught me reality. And you showed me family. You twined your spirit with me, and we made the ring. I ran from you. I went a different way. I forgot you. I broke the ring. Forgive me. I ask you, come back to me. Let us run in the forests, in the mountains, in the valleys. Lead me home to your family. Let us restore the ring. I will sing with you. I will sing with you, safe in our home. Oh, grey, rekindle the wolf in my heart. Does that make you feel anything? Do you feel wolf in there? Can you feel being with wolf? Can you feel the dark of winter, the shortest day, the cold of winter, maybe the snow? But wolf is there, and wolf can be there and can rekindle your heart, can rekindle the wild in your heart. Thank you, Jackie. I'm glad. It's what we need. We need that evocation of wolf, that evocation of the wild, and to feel the wild in our own hearts. It's really important right now because what the world needs most is to be allowed to be allowed to be wild, not to be controlled. We can have our little bits of control, but the less we have of that, the better. And wolf really helps us find that. That howl calls out the wild spirit in every one of us. In Vajrana's song, I know that's the thing of the leader, says, we broke the ring, we broke the ring. But I take that very personally with the poem. And for me, it's I broke the ring. Because each and every one of us has a responsibility for breaking that ring. It's a ring of trust. Once upon a time, when we were hunter-gatherers, and despite the fact that we were hunter-gatherers, in fact, probably because of the fact we were hunter-gatherers, there was a deep trust between us and all of nature, between us and animals and birds and plants and Mother Earth herself. And nature could trust us. Nature knew who we were and where we were and what we were. And we understood, possibly, in fact, quite probably better than we do now, what nature is and what this wildness is that she is. And we can get that back. We can, as Einar says in the song and I say in the poem, we can remake that ring of trust. But it has to come from us first. We've got to show that we love. As Fiona and I showed we loved, and that we weren't going to do anything horrible, and we were going to be nice when we went to meet the wolves. And then they came to us, and we could scratch them and cuddle them and lean against them, and they would cuddle and lick us and eat our hair and all this sort of thing. And we felt accepted, as though with those wolves at that time, they were willing to have the ring of trust again with us. And as I said, each and every one of us has a responsibility for breaking the ring. Let's take that word around a little bit. Each and every one of us also has the responsibility. 2 words, responsibility. And that responsibility is our ability to mend that ring, to remake the ring of trust. But it's got to come from our hearts. We've got to do it. We've got to show them that we're all right, that we're okay, and that we're not going to harm. Now, I think that's really important for us to ponder on. And I would like for you to come with me now on a journey. And the journey is for us to go and to ask Wolf Spirit, however you see him or her, because quite often the decision maker in a family of wolves, and it's a family, not a pack, is a female. And they don't have gender problems like we do, and they don't have a hierarchy like we do. Everybody has their job. There's the one who's really good at making decisions, the one who's really good at protecting people. There's the one who's a really good socializer and can do checking out very well. And there's one who can absolutely test people, test all the members of the family to make sure they're the very best they can possibly be for that family. And there's the nanny wolf who looks after the puppies and teaches them, although they all do that to some extent. So there are all these jobs, and everybody's good at their job, but no job is further up the ladder than the other. You don't have to crawl up somebody's back to become a decision maker. You either are a decision maker, or actually you're much better as a protector, or you're much better as a nanny. And you're not less of a wolf because you are that thing. So I told you a bit about how wolves work. Let's go on a journey together to ask Wolf what each of us personally can do, what our next step is, what we can do to help and help remake the ring. So if you like to settle yourselves now, however you feel most comfortable, and I'll set the music going. This is music that I made on Exmoor, drumming music and chanting music that I made for dreaming on Exmoor. But I think it works very well here too, wherever you are, because Exmoor was wild, is wild. So it's about the wild. So here we go, asking Wolf, what is my next step? Show me my next step that I can do to help rewild my heart. Are you back? Are you come back? Are you here? Hopefully everybody's come back. Can you signal to me that you're back somehow? Perhaps not. Yes. Yes, some of you are. Yeah, good. Right. Okay, my loves. Well, I hope that was good. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope everything worked okay for you. And your time with Wolf hopefully gave you and showed you things that can help you. So, does anybody want to share what happened for them, how they felt? Would that be what anybody would want to do? Please do. If you do, just unmute and talk away if you'd like to say what happened for you and share it with other people. No, that's fine. You don't have to.
I could
Go for it, Christina. Go for it.
I'm not sure I can articulate this. I'll try. I heard that we humans, we've lost our Earth connection, and this is causing us to kill ourselves as a species, and we're taking everything else with us. So Wolf, I was feeling like Wolf was telling me that all the other creatures are waiting for us to find a way of turning it round, because otherwise it feels like this midwinter, it's midwinter now, but it's like it's a midwinter of the world, of civilization, that if we don't find a way of turning things around soon, this will be the real dark night that maybe there won't be a dawn from. And I got that there are still some of us who do love the wild and have a feel for the creatures and for the earth, but we have to reach out to the other people that haven't understood yet and find a way of convincing them. And what I got for me was, I love all creatures, but I struggle with human beings. I was told that I have to find some way of bringing kindness into my relationships with my fellow human beings. There was more, but I won't bore you with more of the details. I'm not really used to this stuff, and it's hard for me to know how much is just me thinking and how much I'm really guessing.
I felt that was quite strong, and particularly the last bit, that you have to find a way to be able to relate, communicate with other human beings. I know quite a lot of people who find it very difficult and really get angry with humans, and I get angry with them myself. But that isn't a good way to change anything, or at least to change humans. And they do need to listen. We all need to listen. I think that was really important. So it feels like you were getting there, Christina. Anybody else?
Thank you. Thank you for taking me there.
Not a problem. Well, it was Wolf who took you. let's face that one. Would anybody else like to share? Because it's always helpful when we hear from other people. So would anybody else like to come in? No, not at the moment. Okay. But it is important to actually go in there and feel. And make a note now of any points that were really important to you, that stuck out to you, as Christina gave us some. But there'll be points that will be particular for you. And that's what's important. You need to know what you need to do, because you're the person who can do something with you. You know, we can't actually, there's a very old adage, which I love, is you can't change anything but yourself. But in changing yourself, you see the world change around you. And that's really important to know, because it does change when you change your own heart. Your heart goes back to wolf, goes back to wild, goes back to feeling into Mother Nature, and owl and fox and little mouse and rabbit and the trees and the plants. When your heart feels with them, you actually start to give out to other people, and they pick up on you, even if they're not used to doing it and don't even realize they're doing it. But they do, they pick up on you. I went with you all again, of course. And because yes, I'm looking after the webinar and everything else as well, but I do go as well. And practices may be able to do two things at once, and look after the webinar and go on the journey. And I haven't been back to Exmoor for quite a few years now, for various reasons. And looking at the old pictures again, they were autumn pictures for me. And they were going through my mind, remembering being there. And I thought, yeah, we all need to feel that way, feel into the wild places. I live in Shropshire now, and there's lots of wild places here that I go out to. And I'll go out to them on a windy day, on a wet day, even on a snowy day, provided I feel I'm safe enough to drive, because I have to drive some of the way. I can walk out of my door, but I can't, but some of the other walks I need to drive on a road to get to. And it's good to go out not when the world is absolutely glowing and bright blue skies and sunshine and all this kind of thing. Go out when she's raining, when she's winding, when she's icing and snowing, because then you're getting to know all of her. And it's actually fantastic. Dress up properly, obviously, and look after yourself, you know, proper boots and proper gloves and hats and coats and things. But go out when it isn't nice, what people call nice. Preferably not in the middle of Storm Arun. I think that's pushing it a little far. But in an ordinary wet and windy day, go out for a little bit and feel it. And feel right down into the earth. Feel how she feels, because she's doing things and clearing things. She's not having a tantrum. She's having a wash and having a shake and shaking all the old blankets out and beating the mattress to get all the dust out of it and vacuuming the carpets for herself, as we might say. And she's doing all that. So go and feel her when she's working that way. It's really worth it. And it'll start to bring you back to this trust, this feeling of love, and this feeling of trust that you can have with the wild nature. And particularly if you go out when it's windy, particularly if you go out when it's snowing, when it's wet, because we've been trained nowadays, and I mean, and I'm quite old, and you know, some of us are not as fit as we were. We've been trained to think, that's too dangerous, you can't go out then. You can, provided you're careful. And you need to know and trust nature when she's blowing gales, not very big gales, but medium gales, small gales, when it's windy, when it's wet, when it's snowy, when it's difficult. We need to learn to trust the difficult times as well, because Wolf does. Let me show you, because it's worth it. And we'll get there in just a minute. Not that one. Yeah. So we'll go back to this one again and share with you. Let's do that. Share screen. We'll go back to this wolf again. There he is. He's in the snow. And he's fine in it. Somewhere, and I don't think I've got them here right at the moment, but I might have. No, I haven't. I've got wolves actually sleeping in the snow. Let me see if I can find those for you, because I really do love them. Yeah, let's get this one up. See? There they are. They're in the snow and they're sleeping and they're fine. I mean, look at that face. It's all right. Oh, it's okay. And we're all tucked up and I've got my nose in my fur because that feels the right thing to do, but I haven't. And I'm not sure about him, but they're quite happy in it. True. They're properly dressed. They're properly dressed naturally. We have to put on clothes and things, but they can and they do. And we need to be like that as well. And part of the trust is this. And let's have a look at this one. I mean, look at that. It's two wolves and one is kissing the other. And it's quite definitely kissing, isn't it? It is, that is, I love you. And it's, I love you coming back from the one underneath. And I don't know whether that's two wolves of different gender or not. I've seen them with Sean. I've seen them, you know, two boys will be, oh, I love you too. And still two girls. And it isn't a gender thing necessarily. That is, you are my family. I trust you. I love you. And that's the sort of thing that we need to get back to, that we need to learn, that we need to bring right back into our hearts again. And here's another version of it. And these wolves, but we can play, and we play anyway. We're not taught to play, we play anyway. Have I stopped sharing? I seem to have paused it for some reason. Let's try again and share screen again and see if we can get there. Let's have a look at this one and get up there. You see, we're playing and we're having fun. Now, those aren't tame, those aren't trained wolves, those are wild wolves. They might be living with people at the moment in a very, very big enclosure, which people do, and they work with them, as Sean does, but they are not tame. They are wild. And isn't that beautiful? And we can do that. We don't play enough together, do we? That's another part of wildness. How about this then? Are we here? Now this is Sean, and he's in with two of his wolves. And look at that. And look at this. They could hurt him if he frightened them, made them angry, or went for one of the others, and then, you know, they needed to get him off them, off the other one. They could hurt him. They could hurt him badly, much worse than a dog can hurt you. But they don't. Look at this face. Look at this paw. Look at that face. I'm feeling Sean's face, buried in the wolf. Isn't that lovely? And we can be like this with all of nature. And wolves, I think they partly came to me this midwinter because they're very frightening to most people. And they don't have to be. It's okay. They don't have to be. And let's try this one. That's how they kiss you. I've been kissed like that. It is French kissing, effectively. And they do it because They taste things inside your mouth. They get to know you from the taste and the smell inside your mouth. And they offer you their mouth so that you can get to know them. Unfortunately, we've lost that ability, which I suspect we probably did have. And most of us, because of the way we eat and the way we live and the fact that we never practice it, we don't have that ability to learn an awful lot about another person from that kind of intimate touch. And that is a greeting touch. Most people would be horrified if you greeted everybody like that. Quite a lot of people get quite sort of frantic, you know, with the French kissing greeting, you kiss cheeks in France. So imagine that. But this is how they feel. They want to be this intimate with each other. They want to be this intimate with the whole rest of the world. So we could too, couldn't we? We could get this. We could be with wolves like this. And we could be wolves ourselves. And frankly, I think that would be wonderful. And this one I love. To start again, because it's not doing it properly for me. So we will do it again. And we'll get to where we want to be. Just that one. So, sorry, this is taking me a bit of a while, isn't it? This is ridiculous. Let's see what we've got. Come on, down we come. How have we got it? Yes, we have. Look at this. This is a wild pack. This is a pack who lived with Jim and Jamie Dutcher a long time ago in the early 90s. And the Sawtooth pack. And they're amazing. They taught Jim and Jamie so much, who then went on and taught other people so much. And Jim and Jamie are still teaching too, as Sean and Kim are, and as are quite a few other people who've really got it together with wolves. Imagine being there. Imagine being there in the mountains by this pool with these wolves. There's another one there. Can you see this one as well? I think there's one there as well, hiding in the mist. Just imagine just being there. And they'll tell you how to live. They will tell you how to be. It's what they do. There's an old story. Well, it's not that old, but it's fairly old, of a long, long time ago. I think something like 30,000 years ago. In France, there are caves with paintings. And the Chauvet cave had also all sorts of other things, including a stone rock, huge great rock, with a bear skull on it, and with traces of coloured wax beside it. And the wax was 25,000, 30,000 years old. So we did it then. But even more impressive, and to do with wolves, they found footprints. And what they found was a child's footprints by the size, I mean, obviously they couldn't tell it was a boy or a girl, but by the size, they said it would have been about a 10-year-old child. And just walking naturally, no running, no scaredy, no jumping, nothing like that, just ordinary walking. And beside the child's footprints, walk those of a wolf. And they're just walking too. They're not chasing. And there's a child and the wolf side by side in these old footprints, excuse me, which would have been in mud in the original days, but now are in obviously stone. So the wolf had come into the caves with the child, the caves that were painted, the caves that were precious, sacred to the people, and spelt out their lives and what they do. And the wolf was there with the child, playing maybe, going to play, coming from playing, but with them. And they were walking like friends. I said, wolves are very good at family. And I think they taught us family. I don't think we tamed wolves. I think they taught us family. So, well, we're coming to the end, and we've nearly done everything we should have done. But one thing that I really want to bring out is that it's we, us, the little people, who can and will achieve rewilding. As Christine said, we've got to do it for ourselves. We've got to find our own way, as you all did in your journey, and you found whatever Wolf wanted you to find and see. So we achieve rewilding our own hearts. We achieve remaking the ring for ourselves, for me with wild nature, and for you with wild nature, yeah? And we do it in our own small way. And despite being really angry with lots of people, as I'm sure we all are at times, we learn how, with the help of Wolf, with the help of Otherworld, with the help of all of nature, how to come and be with other people in a manner that they can actually pick up off us. So we come together in groups that are, maybe there's a park in your town and nobody's using it except for scuffing footballs around, and it just gets mown to within an inch of its life, and the hedges just get slashed to death. And you think, we could actually have a meadow there, a wildflower meadow. We could put some fruit trees up and we could have the apples. We could make the hedge far more biodiverse for all the wildlife. And we could stop them cutting it, so they cut all the nests out, and they cut all the places for birds to shelter out. And it just means coming together, the people who live around the edge of that space, the people who use that space, who work with that space, who walk past it every day on their way to work, maybe. And they come together, and the council says, oh, well, we can't do that, we can't do that. And yes, we can. And because you've all come together with this wild of heart, wanting to bring nature in, wanting to allow nature in, it'll get done. Things are going like that already, but not enough. We need much, much more. And we need wild hearts to do that thing. So just to finish off, Wolf has got me going in 2022. I don't even know what year I'm in. And Wolf has really got me going now, and wanting me to do lots of this, lots of working with people. I should be working with people a little bit every week on Monday nights, as I do at the moment at 7 o'clock. But I'm also going to be working with people with a short webinar on something useful for rewilding our hearts and rewilding the spaces around us every month. And in order to do this, I'm moving all the stuff that used to be on Deirdre's tribe onto my new site. Now, my new site, and I don't know whether you've all got this, but I'll put it in the chat if I can here. New site equals www, and you all know it a little bit because you've all been there to get your ticket here, .com. Now, that's where I am. That's where I am now. If I could spell my own name, which I can't, obviously. Losing it, not quite. That's where I am now, www.ellensentier.com. And all the stuff that I'm going to be doing now is going to be on there, okay? And there will be all sorts of stuff. There will be easy courses, which I'm going to do probably once a month online for probably 2 hours to give people a chance to work and discuss on all the things that you need to do, like asking and listening and being with and all that stuff. I'm going to do those online on webinars. And as well as that, for the people who want to join, I'm going to have a members group that will meet every month, again online, and you will be able to go there. We'll all meet each month and bring questions, discuss, bring things that have happened, bring ideas, all this kind of thing to you. So let's get it. See, I can never find anything. Absolutely hopeless. I'm not that hopeless, really. There's going to be this. A regular monthly members webinar. I think it's starting in the second half of January, but I shall put it up on the website. It'll be a discussion group of all the people who were in Dear Trodd's tribe and all the people who are joining Rewild Your Life. And we're all going to get together and get ideas and talk and discuss and see how things go and see what we can actually get together and produce. But it's a place for you to bring your own questions. And if you're not very sure of it, as Christine says she's not, then that's a place to come. So that you can say, well, this happened, but I don't really understand. And then, yes, I'll be there, but so will other people be there. And it's always good to hear from other people who've walked a little further down the path and sort of say, well, I had this problem and this happened. So this is what I want to start. And it's going to happen, as I said, in the second half of January. It'll be a monthly members webinar for people who have joined with ellensentier.com, the new site. And I'm bringing all the Dear Trodd's tribe people over too. So I'm going to have a very busy midwinter season. I'm also going to be working on all of this. And as well, and just to get you in the mood, hopefully, there'll be another little webinar like this, which might be longer, seeing what we've got, but on 12th night. Now, 12th night is very special for us in Britain. Wassail is what we call it. And in the wassail, we're going to be, wassail means, by the way, great, good health. And so we're going to bring good health. We're going to journey, maybe sing, chant, bring your poems, bring whatever you like, to healing the planet. And healing the planet means learning to work with her. It doesn't mean fixing her. It means learning to work with her. And so we're just going to start that with some fun and some talk and discussing old wassail practices and maybe watching a little bit of it if I can get the use of some video. But that's more difficult because I might not be allowed to put it on here. And at any rate, we will be talking about it and we will be discussing it and we will be journeying with it and have some music, poems, whatever. So that's on 12th night. Now, 12th night is the 6th of January. Okay, 6th of January. That is 12th night. And it's going to start at 7 p.m. And I've allowed it to go on as far as 9 o'clock, but we may decide we finished before then. So that's all right too. But just to give you an idea of what's going on. So am I nearly? I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'd like to bring people together in 2020. And there's going to be lots of stuff I hope to do that with. And we need to explore the deep roots and meanings that other worlds are offering us, as they did tonight with you, and then share them with our friends and learn how we can walk that forward to help Mother Earth. And Wolf is going to be our guardian. Well, he's definitely my guardian in this work for the coming year. And I know he'd love to be yours too, having met you tonight, even if he met you in another form. But that whole spirit of wildness, that whole of wildness, he wants to be with you too. So I look forward to seeing you again. And I'll put stuff up on on the website, but I'll also put stuff up on Wise Woman Facebook page, and make sure that you know that. It'll probably be copied onto my profile page anyway. And if I can get some up on Twitter as well, I will, of what to do, where to go, and how things are going to change so that we can all actually get together in a group, which we never managed to do with the Atros tribe, which was a shame, but things weren't working that way. So I'm going to do it. Really, I'm going to do it through Rewild Our Lives, through ellensentia.com, the new website. So looking forward to seeing you all. And I hope tonight was good. And I'll see you again. So bye-bye, everybody. See you again. Have a good midwinter.